Commander Tejo stood on the bridge of his alien ship watching Earth below him. The blue and green planet spun slowly in the dark space like a beautiful marble floating in nothing. His long, scaled fingers moved across the control panel in front of him. This panel controlled their most powerful weapon, the Crimson Plague virus. The weapon had already killed 17 different alien races across the galaxy. Each time it worked perfectly. The virus would spread through the air, and within just a few weeks, every living thing on the planet would be dead. Then his people, the Valkyrie, could move in and take over the empty world. His second-in-command walked up to him. Her insect-like face looked worried as she spoke. "Sir, the virus containers are ready to drop on the planet below. The poison will spread through their air within just a few hours after we release." Tejo had been studying humans for many years now. His people had hidden ships watching Earth from faraway space. The humans seemed so weak and stupid. They were always fighting each other over silly things like invisible lines on maps and different colored skin. They could not even work together to save their own planet from getting too hot. Perfect targets, he thought to himself. They will be easy to destroy. The Valkyrie were very different from humans. They had hard scales instead of soft skin and could live for hundreds of years. They were much stronger and smarter than humans, or so they believed. Their technology was far more advanced than anything humans had ever built. "Deploy the weapon now," Tejo said in a cold voice. Thousands of tiny metal pods shot out from the bottom of the alien ship. They were so small the human eyes could never see them. The pods spread out across Earth's atmosphere like invisible seeds of death. Each pod would break open and release millions of virus particles into the air. The Valkyrie weapon was designed to be perfect. It would attack the breathing system first, making it hard to breathe. Then it would spread to other parts of the body, destroying everything from the inside. The aliens had tested it on many different types of creatures, and it always worked the same way. Total death within 2 weeks. Within just a few hours, every human on Earth had breathed in the deadly virus. The invisible particles floated in the air everywhere. From the busy streets of New York to the quiet farms in the countryside, every man, woman, and child on the planet now carried the alien weapon inside their bodies. The Valkyrie waited and watched their computer screens showing them what was happening on Earth below. They expected to see humans falling down sick in the streets. They expected to see hospitals filled with dying people. They expected to see panic and fear as the virus spread, but something very strange happened instead. Instead of falling down dead, humans began to sneeze. Dr. Mi Young Park was working late in her laboratory in Seoul, South Korea. She studied viruses and diseases for a living. Her job was to understand how sickness spread and how to stop it. She had been working on a report about flu season when her phone started ringing. Hospital after hospital was calling with the same strange story. People were coming in with runny noses, watery eyes, and feeling tired, but they were not dying. They were just acting like they had bad allergies. "This makes no sense," she said to herself as she looked at the test results on her computer screen. Every hospital in Seoul was reporting the same symptoms at the same time. Hospitals in Tokyo were reporting the same thing. So were hospitals in London and New York and every other city around the world. It was like the entire planet had caught the same cold at exactly the same moment. This was impossible in nature. Diseases do not spread that fast or that evenly across the whole world. What the aliens did not know was something very important about the timing of their attack. Earth was just entering spring season in many parts of the world. Flowers and trees were starting to bloom. This meant pollen was floating in the air everywhere. Millions of humans were already suffering from hay fever. Their noses were already running and their eyes were already watery. When the alien virus hit them, they just thought their allergies were getting worse than usual. A college student named Jin Woo was walking to class when he started sneezing. "Man, the pollen is really bad this year," he said to his friend So Young as he pulled out a tissue from his backpack. In a small village, an old farmer named Kyung Ho was working in his rice fields when his nose started running. "Spring is always the worst time for my allergies," he told his wife when he came home. For lunch in Seoul, a schoolteacher named Unji noticed that half her students were sniffling and wiping their noses during class. She opened the windows thinking the fresh air would help, but it actually made things worse because more pollen came inside. None of them knew that they were carrying a weapon designed to kill entire planets inside their bodies. The virus was trying to attack their cells and shut down their organs. But their human immune systems were doing something the aliens had never seen before. The virus was designed to work on alien biology. The Valkyrie had tested it on 17 different species and it killed them all, but humans were different in ways the aliens did not understand. Human immune systems had evolved over millions of years to fight off all kinds of diseases and infections. They had survived ice ages and plagues and wars. Their bodies knew how to recognize threats and fight them off, but the alien virus was so different from anything on Earth that human immune systems did not even recognize it as dangerous. It was like a key trying to open a lock that had a completely different shape. The virus particles were floating around inside human bodies, trying to find cells to attack, but human cells were built differently than alien cells. The virus could not figure out how to get inside and start causing damage back. On the alien ship, Commander Tejo was starting to worry. His computer screens showed that the virus had spread to every human on Earth, but nothing was happening. The humans were not dying, they were just going about their normal lives, sir. His second-in-command said nervously, "Something is wrong. The virus has infected all of them, but they are not showing any signs of serious illness." Tejo looked at the screen showing a busy street in Tokyo. Humans were walking around shopping and talking. Some of them were wiping their noses, but they looked perfectly healthy otherwise. This was not supposed to happen. The Crimson Plague had never failed before. It was their most trusted weapon, the thing that had made the Valkyrie the most feared species in their part of the galaxy. But now it seemed to be doing nothing at all to the humans. Maybe they are stronger than we thought, said another alien officer. Impossible. Tejo, snap. Humans are weak creatures. They fight among themselves and destroy their own planet. They should be the easiest species we have ever conquered. But as he watched the screens showing Earth below, he began to wonder if maybe they had made a terrible mistake about these strange bipedal creatures. Maybe humans were not as weak as they appeared to Beatty. War had begun, but neither side knew it, yet the aliens thought their weapon had failed. The humans thought they just had bad allergies, but something much more important was happening inside every human body on Earth. The virus was still there, still trying to do its job. But instead of killing humans, it was about to do something completely unexpected, something that would change the fate of both species forever. Silent invasion had begun, but it would not end the way anyone expected. 3 weeks passed, and the Valkyrie aliens were getting more confused every day. Their computer screens showed that the virus had infected every single human on Earth, but instead of dying, the humans were just living their normal lives. They bought tissues from stores, took allergy medicine, and complained about the bad pollen season. Young Jinwoo was a college student in Busan studying engineering. He grabbed another tissue from his backpack as he walked across campus with his girlfriend So Young. "Man, the cherry blossoms are really getting to me this year," he said, wiping his nose. The pink flowers were blooming everywhere, making the campus look beautiful, but also filling the air with pollen. So Young nodded and handed him more tissues from her purse. "My eyes have been watering for weeks now," she said. "Maybe we should buy stronger allergy medicine." Neither of them knew that they were carrying a virus inside their bodies that was designed to dissolve their cellular structure from the inside out. The alien weapon was supposed to attack their breathing system first, then spread to their heart, liver, and brain until they died. But something very strange was happening instead. Dr. Mi Young was working day and night in her laboratory, trying to understand what was going on. She had collected blood samples from hundreds of people all over Seoul. Every single sample showed the same thing. The virus was there inside their bodies, but it was not doing anything. It was like the virus was sleeping or broken somehow. She called her research team together and showed them the results on her computer screen. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the microscopic images. "The virus particles are attached to our cells, but they are not getting inside." Her assistant, Dr. Kim, looked confused. "How is that possible? The virus should be destroying the cell walls by now." Dr. Mi Young had been studying viruses for 15 years, and she had never seen anything like this. "It is like our immune system does not recognize it as a threat," she explained. "The virus is trying to bind to our cells, but our proteins are structured differently than it expects." The alien weapon was designed to work on alien biology. The Valkyrie had tested it on 17 different species across the galaxy, and it killed them all within 2 weeks. But humans were different in ways the aliens had never imagined human. Immune systems had evolved over millions of years, fighting off diseases and infections their ancestors had survived the Black Death, smallpox, influenza, and countless other plagues. Each time some humans died, but others survived and passed on stronger immune systems to their children. They had also adapted to pollution from factories and cars to chemicals in food and water to radiation from nuclear testing. Their bodies had learned to recognize and neutralize thousands of different toxins and threats. The alien virus was trying to use methods that worked on other species, but human cells were built like fortresses with multiple layers of defense. The virus could not find a way to get inside and start causing damage. Construction worker Dong-Su was building a new apartment complex in Seoul, sniffling occasionally but otherwise working normally. His immune system had been strengthened by years of exposure to dust, cement, chemicals, and environmental toxins. He treated the alien virus like just another minor irritant. "I have had worse allergies than this," he told his coworker as they mixed concrete. "The pollen from those new trees they planted downtown is really bad." This year his coworker agreed, nodding. "Yeah, my wife says the same thing." She bought 3 different kinds of allergy medicine, but nothing seems to help much. They had no idea that their bodies were fighting off the most advanced biological weapon in the galaxy and winning back on the alien ship commander. Taeho was pacing back and forth on the bridge. His officers were showing him report after report, but none of it made sense. The virus was working exactly as designed, spreading through the air, infecting every human on the planet. But instead of dying, the humans were getting stronger. "Somehow, sir," his science officer said nervously, "we are detecting unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. The humans appear to be adapting to the virus rather than being destroyed by it. This should be impossible." Taeho growled. "The Crimson Plague has never failed before. Every species we have tested it on died within 14 days maximum." But the reports kept coming, and humans were not just surviving the virus, they were thriving. Schools were reporting better attendance than normal. Hospitals were seeing fewer sick patients. Workers were taking less time off from their jobs. Teacher Yoonji noticed that her students seemed more energetic lately despite their constant sniffling and sneezing. They were paying better attention in class and finishing their homework faster than usual. Maybe the fresh spring air is good for them, she thought to herself as she watched them play outside during recess. Factory supervisor Kyung-ho observed that his workers were being more productive than ever before. They were working longer hours without getting tired and making fewer mistakes on the assembly line. Strange, he thought, maybe that new air filtration system is working better than we expected. What none of them realized was that the alien virus was not just failing to kill humans, it was accidentally triggering beneficial changes in their immune systems. The virus was trying to rewrite their DNA to make them weaker, but human cellular repair mechanisms were so advanced that they were actually improving the modifications. The virus would try to damage a cell, and the human immune system would not only fix the damage, but make the cell stronger than it was before. It was like someone trying to break down a wall, but accidentally making it thicker and stronger. Instead, 12-year-old Haewon was playing soccer with her friends in a park in Seoul. She was running faster than she had ever run before, and she was not getting tired even after playing for 2 hours. "Wow. Hey," one her friend said, breathing hard. "How are you still running so fast?" "I am exhausted," Haewon shrugged. "I do not know, I just feel really good today. Maybe I'm getting stronger." Her mother, who was watching from the sidelines, attributed her daughter's increased energy to growth spurts and good nutrition. She had no idea that her daughter's cardiovascular system was being enhanced by the failed viral modifications. The Valkyrie had designed their weapon to exploit common biological weaknesses they had observed in other species across the galaxy, but humans were the first species they had encountered that turned biological attacks into evolutionary advantages. Their bodies did not just resist the virus, they absorbed it, studied it, and used it to become better. The alien weapon was accidentally giving humans upgrades to their immune system's strength. An endurance shop owner, Minho, noticed he could work longer hours without getting tired. He used to need breaks every few hours, but now he could work from morning until night without feeling exhausted. His wife, Yoo-jin, who worked at a shipping company, found she could lift heavier boxes than before. Her coworkers were amazed at her sudden increase in strength. "I must be getting in better shape," she laughed, not knowing that her muscle fibers were being enhanced by alien biotechnology all across the planet. Humans were becoming stronger, faster, and more resilient, but they just thought they were having a particularly bad allergy season. The sneezing and runny noses were actually signs that their bodies were successfully fighting off and adapting to the most advanced biological weapon in the galaxy. The Valkyrie had tried to destroy humanity with their greatest weapon, but instead they had accidentally given humans the tools to become something far more powerful than they had ever been before. Commander Tejo was no longer just confused, he was starting to panic. Reports were coming in from all over the galaxy about the failed attack on Earth. The Crimson Plague was supposed to be their most reliable weapon, but it was not working at all on the human, sir, his science officer said, walking up to him with a tablet in her hands. "We are detecting very unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. The humans appear to be getting stronger somehow instead of weaker." This was completely true. As weeks passed, humans were unknowingly developing incredible improvements to their bodies. Teacher Yunji was noticing that her students seemed more alert and energetic than ever before. Despite their constant sniffling and tissue use, they were learning faster and remembering more information. At the factory, supervisor Kyung-ho observed that his workers were taking fewer sick days than they had in years. They were also working more efficiently and making fewer mistakes on the production. "I do not understand it," he told his wife over dinner. "Everyone has been complaining about allergies, but they are all performing better at work than usual." His wife nodded from the kitchen where she was preparing food. "Maybe the spring air is good for them somehow." What they did not know was that their bodies were not just fighting off the alien virus, they were learning from it and using it to improve themselves. The virus contained advanced biotechnology that was designed to modify DNA and cellular structure, but instead of weakening humans, it was accidentally making them better. Dr. Mi Young had expanded her research team to include scientists from all around the world. They were working together through video calls and shared computer networks, trying to understand what was happening to the human race. He was on a video call with Dr. James from London, Dr. Sarah from New York, and Dr. Chun from Tokyo, all studying the same phenomenon in their countries. "Look at these cellular readings," Dr. Myung said, holding up charts to her computer camera. "The virus is trying to rewrite our DNA, but our repair mechanisms are so strong that we are actually improving the modifications." Dr. James leaned forward on his screen. "This is incredible. The virus is like a software program trying to hack into our cells, but our immune system is debugging the code and making it better." In playgrounds and schools around the world, children were displaying these improvements most clearly. 12-year-old Hey, one was playing soccer with her friends in Seoul, running faster and longer than she ever had before. "How are you not tired yet?" her friend asked, breathing heavily after only 30 minutes of playing. Hey, one shrugged and smiled. "I do not know. I just feel really good today. Maybe I ate good breakfast." Her enhanced cardiovascular system was pumping blood more efficiently throughout her body. Her muscles were using oxygen more effectively, and her reflexes were faster than they had ever been. But to her parents, it just looked like she was going through a healthy growth spurt. The Valkyrie aliens had designed their weapon to exploit biological weaknesses they had observed in other species across the galaxy. Every other race they had encountered had certain vulnerabilities in their cellular structure, immune systems, or DNA repair mechanisms, but humans were different in ways the aliens had never imagined. Earth was a harsh planet with constantly changing conditions. Humans had evolved to survive ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues, floods, droughts, and countless other disasters. Their immune systems were like Swiss Army knives with tools for fighting off thousands of different threats. Their DNA repair mechanisms were incredibly sophisticated, able to fix damage and even improve upon the original structure. The alien virus was trying to use tactics that worked on other species, but humans were turning those same tactics into advantages. Every time the virus tried to weaken a human cell, the cell would repair itself and become stronger than before. Shop owner Minho was working in his store when he noticed he could lift heavy boxes that used to require 2 people. He thought maybe he had been getting more exercise recently. His wife Yujin, who worked at a shipping company, was having the same experience. She could now easily carry packages that used to strain her back eye. "Think I'm getting stronger," she told her husband that evening. "Maybe all this sneezing is actually good exercise for my muscles." They laughed about it, but neither realized that their muscle fibers were being enhanced by alien biotechnology. The virus was accidentally giving them upgrades to their physical capabilities. Construction worker Dong-Soo was building a new apartment complex and finding that he could work longer hours without getting tired. His enhanced endurance allowed him to work from sunrise to sunset without needing many breaks. "My allergies are bad this year," he told his coworkers, "but somehow I feel like I have more energy than usual." His coworkers agreed. Many of them were experiencing the same thing. Despite the constant sniffling and sneezing, they were all performing better at their jobs. The Valkyrie monitoring systems were detecting these changes, but they could not understand what was happening. Their computers showed that human physical capabilities were improving across the planet, but this should have been impossible. The virus was designed to make creatures weaker and more vulnerable to conquest. Instead, it seemed to be making humans stronger and more resilient than they had ever been before. What made it even more confusing was that humans did not even seem to know what was happening to them. They were just going about their daily lives, complaining about pollen and buying tissues from stores. Commander Taeho stared at the reports coming in from Earth. The human military was not mobilizing. There were no signs of panic or preparation for war. The humans seemed completely unaware that they were under attack, but the energy readings from the planet were showing something that made his blood run cold. The humans were not just surviving his ultimate weapon, they were being improved by it for the first time in his long military career. Taeho began to wonder if his people had made a terrible mistake. These creatures were not the weak, primitive beings they had assumed them to be. They was something far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The truth finally came out when amateur radio operator Chang-Soo picked up strange signals from space. He was working in his small garage in Daegu, surrounded by radio equipment he had built himself over many years. His hobby was listening to signals from satellites and space stations, but on this particular night he heard something completely different. The signals were not from Earth. They were coming from somewhere high above the planet, and they were not in any human language. Chang-Soo had always been good with electronics and computers, so he recorded the signals and tried to figure out what they meant. After working for 3 days straight, he managed to create a basic translation program. The alien words he decoded were terrifying. They talked about planetary sterilization, biological warfare, and something called the Crimson Plague within hours. Chang-Soo had called government officials in Seoul and shared his discovery. The news spread like wildfire across the internet and television stations around the world. The revelation that Earth was under attack by aliens who had tried to kill everyone with a bioweapon shocked people everywhere, but instead of panic, something completely unexpected happened. Humans got angry, really angry. "They tried to kill us with what we thought was hay fever," laughed bus driver Sang Min as he read the news on his phone during his break. "That is just insulting. They could not even make a proper weapon that works." His passengers agreed, nodding and talking excitedly about the news. The general reaction across the world was not fear, but outrage mixed with a strange sense of pride. The global response was swift and decisive. Military forces in every country began preparing for war. But they were not the only ones getting ready. Ordinary citizens like mechanic Jae-sung started modifying their cars and trucks for combat. They welded metal plates onto the sides and installed better engines. "If aliens want to fight," he said to his customers, "they picked the wrong planet to mess with." Farmer Nari organized all the people in her village to stockpile food and supplies. She had always been good at planning and organizing, so she became the leader of the local defense group. "We survived Japanese occupation, the Korean War, economic crashes, and natural disasters," she told the villagers at their meeting. "If some aliens think they can kill us with fake allergies, they are about to learn what humans are really made of." The Army Young had been working non-stop with scientists around the world, and her research had revealed something incredible. The alien virus had not just failed to kill humans, it had accidentally created something the aliens never expected. She announced her findings at a global scientific conference that was broadcast live on television and the internet. "We are not the same species we were 6 months ago. She said, looking directly into the camera, "We are faster, stronger, and virtually immune to biological weapons. They tried to weaken us, but they made us into something they never expected." The audience of scientists and world leaders was silent as she continued. "The virus was designed to rewrite our DNA to make us weaker, but our cellular repair mechanisms turned it into upgrades instead. Every human on Earth now has enhanced physical capabilities, improved immune systems, and increased mental processing speed." Student activist the Jin had always been passionate about social justice and human rights. But now she had a new cause. She organized massive protests outside government buildings in Seoul, demanding immediate action against the aliens. Her enhanced stamina and lung capacity allowed her to speak for hours without getting tired. Drawing huge crowds of supporters. "They thought we were weak," she shouted through her megaphone to thousands of people gathered in the square. "They thought we would just die quietly without fighting back. But we are humans. We do not give up. We do not surrender. We fight." The crowd roared in agreement. Many of them were feeling the same enhancements that Dejin was experiencing. They felt stronger, more energetic, and more determined than ever before. Around the world, similar protests were happening. People were demanding that their governments take action against the aliens. They wanted justice for the attack on their planet. The aliens had made a crucial mistake about human nature. They thought humans were weak because they sometimes fought among themselves. But what they did not understand was that humans were like a family. They might argue and disagree with each other, but when an outside threat attacked them, they came together. Stronger than ever, military recruitment offices in every country were flooded with volunteers. People who had never considered joining the military were signing up to fight. Young and old, rich and poor, people from every background wanted to defend their planet. "I have 3 kids," said a mother waiting in line at a recruitment office in Seoul. "If aliens think they can try to kill my children, they are going to learn what an angry human mother can do." The Valkyrie, who were monitoring human communications from their ships in space, began to realize they had made a terrible mistake. The humans were not just surviving their ultimate weapon, they were using it to become stronger, and now they were preparing for war. Commander Taeho received reports that made his hands shake. The humans had somehow detected their presence in space and were already beginning to develop countermeasures. Their scientists were reverse engineering the virus and learning how to create new technologies from ISR. His communications officer said nervously, "We are receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. It is directed specifically at ESA." The message was transmitted in perfect Valkyrie language, which should have been impossible for humans to learn. The voice was calm but filled with determination. "We know you are up there. We know what you tried to do. We know you thought we were weak and helpless. You were wrong. We are coming for youth." Transmission ended, leaving the alien bridge in complete silence. For the first time in his career, Commander Taeho felt something he had never experienced before: fear. Commander Taeho received the most terrifying report of his military career. Not only had humans survived the Crimson Plague, but they had somehow reverse engineered the alien technology from the virus itself. Human scientists had decoded the biological programming and were using it to enhance their own capabilities in ways the Valkyrie had never imagined possible. "Sir," his communications officer said, walking up to him with a worried expression, "we are receiving multiple transmissions from the planet's surface. All of them are directed at us specifically, and they all contain the same message." The message was simple, but it made Taeho blood run cold. "We know you are up there. We know what you tried to do. We know you failed. We are coming for you." What made it even more frightening was that the humans were transmitting in perfect Valkyrie language, complete with proper grammar and cultural references. This should have been impossible for a species that had never encountered alien civilization before, but Dr. Mi-young's research team had been working around the clock studying the virus and learning from it. The alien bioweapon contained vast amounts of information about Valkyrie biology, culture, and technology. The humans were absorbing this knowledge like sponges. "We can read their genetic code like a book," she explained to world leaders during an emergency meeting. The virus was designed to rewrite our DNA, but it also contained detailed information about how their own biology works. "We now understand their weaknesses better than they understand ours." Pilot Wu Jin climbed into the cockpit of Humanity First space-capable fighter jet. The aircraft had been built in record time using principles learned from analyzing the alien Virus, the ship's biometal hull could repair itself if damaged, and its weapons were designed to target the specific weaknesses humans had discovered in Valkyrie. Physiology, this is for trying to kill my family, he muttered as he launched toward the alien fleet floating in space above Earth. The human spacecraft were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen before. They were biological machines that could adapt and evolve during combat. When alien weapons hit them, they would analyze the damage and develop immunity to that type of attack on the ground. Dr. Mi Young team had developed new technologies at an incredible pace. The alien virus had contained blueprints for advanced bioengineering information the Valkyrie never intended to share. Humans were using it to create medical robots that could repair injuries instantly, enhanced food production systems that could feed billions of people, and even biological computers that could think and learn. "This is impossible," said the Valkyrie science officer as he watched human ships approach their fleet. "Our technology took thousands of years to develop. How did they learn it so quickly?" The answer was simple. Human brains were different from Valkyrie brains. They could process information faster, make connections between ideas more easily, and adapt to new situations more quickly. The virus had been designed to slow down their thinking, but instead it had accidentally enhanced their mental capabilities. Construction worker Dong-Su was now part of a team building orbital defense platforms in space. His enhanced strength and endurance allowed him to work in conditions that would have killed a normal human before the virus exposure. "They picked the wrong species to mess with," he said as he welded another support beam into place. The metal was so heavy that it would have taken 3 men to lift it before, but now Dong-Su could handle it easily by himself. Back on Earth, factories that had been making cars and appliances were now producing weapons and spacecraft. Human workers with enhanced capabilities could work for days without rest, building the tools of war with incredible speed and precision. The first wave of human ships reached the Valkyrie fleet within just a few days. What should have been a hopeless battle turned into a complete disaster for the aliens. Human pilots like Wu Jin flew with enhanced reflexes and intuition that made them nearly impossible to hit. Their bioships could regenerate damage faster than the aliens could cause it. When a Valkyrie weapon managed to hit a human ship, the damaged area would heal itself within minutes and develop resistance to that type of attack. "Impossible," Commander Tejo whispered as he watched his fleets formations crumble around him. They were supposed to be the weakest species in the galaxy. How are they doing this? His science officer was frantically reading reports from the battle. "Sir, the human ships are learning from our attacks. Each time we hit them, they become more resistant to our weapons. They are evolving in real time." The Valkyrie had always relied on their superior technology and weapons to win battles. But humans were not just using better technology, they were becoming better themselves. The virus had given them the ability to adapt and improve during combat. Human boarding parties were now attacking Valkyrie ships. Directly enhanced soldiers like former student Jinwoo could move faster than Valkyrie eyes could follow. They were stronger than Valkyrie warriors, and their improved immune systems made them resistant to alien diseases and toxins. "We surrender." One Valkyrie officer transmitted to the human forces, "Please, we do not want to fight anymore." The response came back immediately in perfect Valkyrie language: "You tried to commit genocide against our entire species. You will face justice for your crimes, but we will not kill you like you tried to kill us. We are better than that." Within hours, the entire Valkyrie fleet had been captured or destroyed. The aliens, who had spent centuries conquering other worlds, had been defeated by a species they thought was weak and primitive. The war that was supposed to last for years was over in less than a week. Human forces had not just defended their planet, they had completely overwhelmed one of the most advanced military forces in the galaxy. Commander Tejo sat in a human prison cell, still trying to understand what had happened. His ultimate weapon had not just failed, it had created the very thing that destroyed his people. The humans had turned his greatest strength against him, and now they were the ones in control of the situation. Part 6. The New Guardians. The war was over within weeks. The Valkyrie, so confident in their superior technology, had never faced an opponent that could adapt and improve in real time. Human forces didn't just defeat the alien fleet, they captured it, studied it, and made it better. Dr. Mi Young stood in the newly constructed Earth Defense Command Center, watching as human ships patrolled the solar system. The alien virus had done more than just fail to kill humanity, it had accidentally triggered the next stage of human evolution. "The irony is perfect," she said to her assistant. "They tried to destroy us with a biological weapon, but biology is what makes us human. We adapt, we survive, we grow stronger." Young Jinwoo, now a pilot in the Earth Defense Force, still carried tissues in his flight suit. Not for alien viruses anymore, just regular seasonal allergies? "Some things never change," he laughed, watching Earth's blue marble spin below his ship. The Valkyrie survivors were taken to rehabilitation centers on Earth, where they slowly learned about human culture. Many were amazed by humanity's capacity for forgiveness and growth. Former Commander Teho, now working as a xenobiology researcher, often wondered how his species had so badly misjudged these remarkable creatures. "You turned our greatest weapon into your greatest strength," he told Dr. Mi Young during one of their research sessions. "We thought biological warfare was your weakness, but adaptation is your superpower." Across the galaxy, other species began to hear stories about Earth, the planet where a primitive species had not only survived the legendary Crimson Plague, but had used it to become stronger. Some were fearful, others curious, but all were respectful. Farmer Nari looked up at the stars from her enhanced crops, knowing that humanity now stood as guardians of their corner of the galaxy. The failed alien attack had united Earth's people, and given them the tools to protect not just themselves, but other species who might face similar threats. "We thought it was just a bad allergy season," she told her granddaughter, who was playing with toys made from bioadaptive materials. "But it turned out to be the beginning of our greatest adventure." The universe was vast and full of challenges, but humanity was ready. They had learned that sometimes the greatest threats could become the greatest opportunities, if you were stubborn enough to survive them and smart enough to learn from them. And somewhere in a medical lab, Dr. Mi Young kept a sample of the original Crimson Plague virus, now harmless but historically significant. A reminder that sometimes the enemy's greatest weapon becomes your greatest gift, if you're human enough to make it work. The war was over, but the changes it brought to humanity were just beginning. The Valkyrie fleet had been defeated so completely that other alien species across the galaxy started hearing stories about Earth, the planet where supposedly primitive species had not only survived the legendary Crimson Plague, but had used it to become something far more powerful. Dr. Mi Young stood in the newly built Earth Defense Command Center watching as human ships patrolled the solar system. The massive space station had been constructed in just 3 months using the alien technology that humans had learned from the virus. "The irony is perfect," she said to her research assistant as they looked out at the stars. "They tried to destroy us with a biological weapon, but biology is what makes us human. We adapt, we survive, we grow stronger from every challenge." The alien virus had done much more than just fail to kill humanity. It had accidentally triggered the next stage of human evolution. People were not just immune to diseases, now they were actively improving themselves. Everyday humans were becoming smarter, stronger, and more capable. Young Jinwoo, who had been a college student when the virus first hit, was now a pilot in the Earth Defense Force. He still carried tissues in his flight suit, but not for alien viruses anymore, just for regular seasonal allergies that still bothered him during spring. "Some things never change," he laughed to his co-pilot So Young as they patrolled the area around Mars. The two of them had gotten married after the war, and now they flew missions together, protecting Earth from any future threats. Down on Earth, the changes were even more dramatic. Construction worker Dong-soo was now the supervisor of a massive project to build underground cities that could shelter millions of people. His enhanced strength and endurance allowed him to work on projects that would have been impossible before. "We are not just rebuilding," he told his team as they worked on the deep tunnels. "We are building something better than what we had before." The Valkyrie survivors had been taken to special facilities on Earth where they were learning about human culture. Many of them were amazed by humanity's capacity for forgiveness and growth. Instead of seeking revenge, humans were trying to understand and help their former enemies. Former Commander Teho was now working as a researcher in Dr. Mi Young laboratory, studying how different species could work together. He spent his days analyzing alien biology and helping humans understand the wider galaxy. You turned our greatest weapon into your greatest strength, he told. Dr. Mi Young, during one of their research sessions, we thought biological warfare was your weakness. But adaptation is your superpower. Dr. Mi Young nodded as she looked at the latest test results. The virus had not just enhanced human physical capabilities. It had also improved their ability to understand and work with other forms of life. We were always good at adapting, she said, but now we can adapt to things we never even imagined before. We can understand alien biology, learn alien languages, and even develop technologies that work with alien systems. The impact was being felt across the galaxy. Other species were beginning to reach out to Earth. Some were fearful of these enhanced humans, but others were curious and wanted to learn from Thema. Delegation of peaceful aliens called the Zentari had arrived at Earth the week before. Their leader was a tall, graceful being with blue skin and large eyes who spoke in musical tones. We have heard the stories of your triumph over the Valkyrie. The Zentari ambassador said during a meeting with Earth leaders, we would like to propose a partnership between our species. Teacher Youngji was now working as a translator and cultural advisor, helping humans communicate with alien visitors. Her enhanced mental capabilities allowed her to learn new languages in just days instead of years. It is amazing, she told her students during a special lesson about alien cultures. A few months ago, we thought we were alone in the universe. Now we are becoming friends with species from across the galaxy. Farmer Nari looked up at the night sky from her fields, knowing that human ships were up there protecting Earth and making contact with other worlds. Her crops were growing better than ever thanks to new farming techniques. Learned from alien biology, we thought the sneezing and runny noses were just a bad allergy season, she told her granddaughter, who was playing nearby with toys made from bio-adaptive materials. But it turned out to be the beginning of our greatest adventure. The little girl looked up at her grandmother with enhanced eyes that could see colors humans had never seen before. Grandma, will there be more aliens coming to visit us? Nari smiled and pointed to the stars. There is a whole galaxy out there full of different species and worlds. Some of them might be friendly, and some might be dangerous, but we are ready for whatever comes. The universe was vast and full of unknown challenges, but humanity was no longer the same species that had almost been destroyed by the Crimson Plague. They had learned that sometimes the greatest threats could become the greatest opportunities if you were stubborn enough to survive them and smart enough to learn from them. The Enhanced Human Project, as scientists called it, was now helping other species across the galaxy. Several worlds had contacted Earth asking for help with their own biological problems, diseases, and genetic issues that had plagued them for centuries. Humans, with their new understanding of biological adaptation and cellular repair, were becoming known as the galaxy healers. They could analyze alien biology and help other species overcome challenges that had seemed impossible before. Shop owner Minho had expanded his business to include alien customers who visited Earth. His enhanced strength allowed him to handle cargo and equipment from species much larger than humans. His wife Yujin was now managing interplanetary shipping routes that connected dozens of different worlds. The business opportunities are incredible, she told him as they watched alien cargo ships landing at the new spaceport outside Seoul. We are not just trading with other countries anymore, we are trading with other star system. Student activist the Jin had become Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council, a governing body that included representatives from hundreds of different species. Her enhanced stamina and mental capabilities allowed her to participate in negotiations that lasted for days without breaks. The other species respect us now, she transmitted back to Earth during one of the council meetings. They have realized that humans are not weak or primitive. We are survivors, and that makes us valuable. Eli's radio operator Shang Su, whose discovery of the alien attack had started everything, was now working as the director of Earth Deep Space Communications Network. His equipment could detect signals from across the galaxy and translate them in real time. Every day we receive messages from new species, he told reporters during an interview. Some want to trade with us, some want to learn from us, and some want our help with problems they cannot solve themselves. The transformation of humanity was continuing to accelerate. Children born after the virus exposure were displaying even more advanced capabilities than their parents. They could learn faster, think more clearly, and adapt to new situations with incredible Speed 12-year-old Haewon, who had been enhanced by the virus as a child, was now part of a special program for gifted students. She could solve mathematical problems that had puzzled scientists for years, and she was learning to pilot spacecraft in simulators. "I want to explore the galaxy," she told her parents as they watched news reports about new worlds being discovered. "And there are so many places to see and so many species to meet." Her parents smiled, knowing that their daughter would grow up in a universe full of possibilities that they could never have imagined. And somewhere in a secure laboratory, Dr. Mi Young kept a sample of the original Crimson Plague virus, now completely harmless but historically significant. It served as a reminder of how far humanity had come and how much they had learned. The virus that was supposed to destroy us gave us the tools to become something greater, she wrote in her final research report. "We learned that our greatest strength is not our technology or our weapons, but our ability to adapt and grow stronger from every challenge." The sample sat in its container, a tiny piece of alien technology that had accidentally created the next stage of human evolution. From something designed to bring death had come enhanced life, stronger communities, and a future among the stars. Earth was no longer just a single planet struggling with its own problems. It was now the center of a growing network of allied species working together to explore and protect the galaxy. The humans, who had once thought they were suffering from bad allergies, had become the guardians of interstellar peace and cooperation. The universe was still vast and full of dangers, but humanity was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. They had proven that with enough determination and adaptability, even the most devastating attack could be turned into the foundation for something beautiful and strong. The age of enhanced humanity had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. They unleashed a life-wiping virus on Earth. Humans thought it was hay fever.